right, so I'd like to call this meeting of the Boylston Regional School Committee to order. Just a reminder that this meeting is being recorded, so your image and or voice may be broadcast. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I don't think there are any public comments. Does anyone have any communications? All right, so we have two business items to discuss. I'm gonna do this out of order. I think, why don't we talk about the calendar first? So, in order to comply with the 45-day requirement for town meeting, and to be able to allow for as much time as possible for any state changes, we are proposing to change the school committee calendar as follows. So the proposal is to cancel the February 13th meeting, have our preliminary budget hearing on February 27th, have our final budget hearing on March 12th, which would be the public hearing, and then change our March 26th as needed meeting to March 19th, and that would be when we vote on the final budget. Okay, so did anyone have any discussion on that?
The only point would be that whatever agenda of the 13th is being canceled would go on the 27th, and then the 19th would be virtual.
Okay. All right, did anyone else have anything to say?
And this is based on recommendations from Lawrence?
Yeah, this is based on recommendations from ours. Yep, exactly. Thank you for adding that.
One thing, you, at the public hearing, you don't have to take any votes, you just hear it. The votes come at the next meeting. You don't have to do a vote.
We don't have to do any votes, yeah, but if we have any business
Right.
that we need to do, then we will probably, because that is our regular meeting.
Not at the public hearing, at the
Right.
27th, at the preliminary.
It's a presentation, public, and what, you open a public hearing within your school committee meeting, then you close it, and then you continue on in school committee.
Or,
No, I think that's confusing the public hearing with the preliminary presentation. Right?
No, the preliminary is before that, before the hearing.
Yes, the 27th is what I was suggesting. Basically, you're not canceling the 13th meeting, just moving the meeting to the 27th.
Yep.
Right. Is that?
I hope I'm not confusing you.
Yeah, so the 12th is simply the budget hearing. We come in, Nancy presents the budget that was preliminary presented on the 27th. Public can comment whatever they want. And then we're not voting that day.
Right.
We're just going, like, okay, done. And then the vote is on the 19th.
And you could do any deliberation you might want to on the budget based on what they say to give some direction to your administration.
Mhm.
If there is any.
so the only vote we would need is just to make the modifications to the calendar. We don't need to put on the calendar when we're doing our preliminary budget hearing or our final budget hearing. That's something that we can do after the fact, I believe, right? We can, and we just have to announce it 7 days ahead of time. Correct?
Right, we're just.
So we're just changing the calendar. All right. So could I have a motion to move February 13th meeting to February 27th and change the March 26th meeting to March 19th?
Second.
All right, Julie and Mike. All right, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. 6. Okay. All right, so the last order of business is, we received a letter from the town of Berlin, it should be in the drive, And it was regarding, their request for, our budget. And they asked a few questions. Did everyone have a chance to read the letter?
Yes.
Okay, and then I believe Nancy and Carol worked to draft a response. Where is this response? Okay, here we go.
Make sure you go to the one that says revised November 27th.
Revised November 27th. Yep.
Can I ask you a question about the town letter?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So in the first paragraph after their initial 3 bullet points, they talk about the budget being so high because of the need to cover the gap with special education funding. And then at the end of the letter, they make a comment about, the budget was more than half, or about half the total town budget being changed, or the change, your additional school budget was more than half of the town's total increase, which the school budget is about half the town budget anyway, and I think the changes that they stated are actually less than half. But are they complaining about the special education cost there? Does Mary still not understand that was a state thing that came to us that we had no control over? It says this additional one-time funding was given to cover the gap in special education funding until reimbursement arrived. These are not added to the base of the school budget as they significantly depleted the town's resources available for capital.
Go ahead, Nancy.
I know, I don't see that paragraph. I'm really sorry.
It's in their letter. It's not your letter.
In their letter, the third paragraph.
It's under the 3 bullets.
So it's levy
Starts-
61%.
starts- it starts at
19.7% EMS increase.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, it starts FY '24,
I got it, okay.
about halfway through.
So what's your question then? I'm sorry.
My question is, I guess, I don't know. It sounds like they're blaming us for the increase in special education funding and that we can't do that again this year. I mean, that's sort of out of our hands. I mean, if we go with what they're saying here, we'd end up having to cut however many teachers, programs, whatever it is.
Did they mention the special ed actually in there?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
The second sentence, right, the third sentence in that paragraph?
So my interpretation when I read that, and I could be wrong, was that they thought we had kind of like a balloon year for special education, and that would be different this year. Do not maybe take that amount and assume that we would be given the same amount.
I mean, that's a budgeted amount that's outside of our control.
Right,
You know.
and our needs are still very similar. I would guess those students have probably not gone anywhere, or they
So
still.
there's been a lot of movement, which
Yeah.
they don't see in the budget, but
Yeah.
there very well could be new ones coming in. You know, they're just gonna have to be educated that that's beyond our.
Yes, I agree.
Actually, we went over that last year with them.
It's out of all of our control.
Yeah.
This is what happens. So I think most of the folks
I think a
understood
lot
that.
of, I'm sorry, Carol.
No, I was just gonna say, I think that toward the end, once they understood that, for the most part, I don't know if individual understood or agreed with the decision, but I think by and large they recognized that it was excessive.
See, I thought so too until I read this letter.
I think, I was watching one of their FinCom meetings, and I think a lot of it stems from, we reported our revenue very early before anything came out. And I don't think that they had a lot of confidence in our figures because we released everything so early. We did that trying to work with them, trying to work with the town. So I think we learned a lot and we're gonna do it much differently this year. So I think a lot of that stems from that also, is the whole circuit breaker thing. I think a lot of the finance committee members were confused by that, the circuit breaker funding.
All right. Yeah, I was confused by that,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you guys have had any more conversations with them. All right, thank you.
And I think, again, if we go to these meetings starting in December, as they have those questions, again, we're there to address them ahead of time. Hopefully, they'll have more background information and understand what's going on ahead of time. Fix that situation.
I will say, like, I watched a couple of the FinCom meetings, and it was nice to hear how they understood what we presented, you know? And I think that that's important that this year that we really pay attention to where they're coming from too, and what they're saying, and that will help us in our presentation to them too, so they understand our figures.
Okay. Yeah, good point, Mike. So Nancy drafted a response, and in summary, it pretty much just says what we're able to provide right now and what we're not able to provide right now based on the requests. So Mike, you had suggested a few edits.
Yeah, I think in the revised one,
The revised, they're incorporated in there?
they're, the only thing I would say on the revised one, the first 3 bullets, and the last bullet, I would add the word just which is scheduled for. So it says approval of general budget and capital budget committee is scheduled for a preliminary vote on, based on the way that first part of the paragraph is written out, just add the word which is scheduled for preliminary. That makes sense to everybody? To address these concerns and ensure a smooth process.
Which is scheduled, yeah, I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
That's all I would say.
The first 3 bullets you're referring to?
It just, that bullet flows a little better from the initial paragraph.
So where it says the release of revenues, that one?
The third bullet.
The third
Yeah.
bullet down,
The third bullet in that group.
Approval of fiscal year 25 general budget.
By the school committee, you just add which is scheduled.
it's just missing a word. Sure. Typo.
You gotta change that date.
Yeah,
Preliminary vote would be, yep, and so.
that's February,
Which,
27th.
Yeah, the 27th.
Okay, so it would be February 27th.
Yep.
So if that last bullet just needs to be updated. All right, was there anything else? Did anyone see anything else in this letter that needs to be updated?
Should we mention, like, based on recommendations from the Massachusetts Association of Regional Schools? I mean, not that we're just like pulling this out of the hat. You know, just like, there was a reason why these dates were picked.
I think the reason is in the second paragraph there. Kind of lays out the reason for the steps.
Are you comfortable if I change, do you want me to change it now? I can change it right.
Yeah,
I just did, I did it in the Word version. I don't know if you're in the PDF or the Word. I did it.
Yeah, if you're in the, yeah.
Okay, so Jess is asking if we should mention that,
I think it's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
I think the more, it makes it more, like, we're not trying to make people angry, we're trying to wait on the most accurate data and as.
I agree with you.
People say, I've done this before.
And I've done it before, Our initial meeting with the finance committee last, so we could add that sentence in, so Nancy, Carol, maybe you want to add a sentence in either the first or second paragraph that mentions that,
Maybe in collaboration or guidance of.
yeah,
I don't think it's necessary, but if you want to do it, it's.
I don't think it hurts.
Do you want me to make a-
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. We can fix it.
Jess, do you want to?
I mean, so like maybe the third paragraph says to address these concerns.
It's a little adversarial, is why I don't do it. Because we're basically saying, thanks to your letter, we talked to our advisor and go screw, this is what we're gonna do.
I mean, the whole letter is. I mean.
I know what you're really angry about.
No, but I was saying it's based on data and experience of other people.
Yeah.
We're not
I agree with
saying
you, it's
It's
not saying
fair.
you don't wanna do it, we're saying you've talked to other experts in this field about the experience and this
Yeah,
is.
okay. Yeah,
Saying that our advisors are,
Yeah.
we're being advised, we're not just doing it in a vacuum.
And that's why I said it's a fair point, but when you put it in writing, it's kind of that extra little.
Well, because we were trying to address concerns, so we're trying to learn more about the
Yeah.
process
Right.
through them. And since the regional schools were, newer.
Well, and to your point, we're often told that we're a young school committee and, we do things differently. And so we've sought education, which I think is very helpful. We've sought guidance. And
Can we just, so if we could go to address these concerns, we have to cite in consultation with the Mass Association of Regional Schools.
Yeah,
Are you comfortable with that? We want to make sure we mention you in here?
yeah.
Get some airtime. Yeah, okay.
I don't live in town, so go ahead.
Does that sound okay? All right, let me type it.
Well, I mean, quite frankly, it's more public access to the information than you've ever provided, so they should be like applauding you, not necessarily us, but it's your real effort to say, we're really trying to work along and to make sure you have the best information you can as soon as you can. And there are limitations as to what access you have to stuff from the state.
Carol, the only suggestion I would make on your sentence there, instead of and in, just say after, or and
Right.
after.
After consultation,
Yeah,
or and after.
to address these concerns, to ensure smooth process and after.
It also gives some substance to our letter, it's not just us in a vacuum. It's we've learned, and also gives a notice that this time around, we know a lot more than we did the first time. We're not just flying, I feel.
well, we're not just trailblazing.
I agree.
I know.
We have a consultant. Okay, anything else? All right, so could I please have a motion to approve the joint response?
You'll edit it to get the last line on one page. Adjust the margins or something.
Yes.
And,
Yeah, the letter's fine, just make sure. it's
delete the
edited.
very top maybe. And, you guys can send this out tomorrow, because I know they had sent it to us like a couple weeks ago, but we wanted to, make sure the committee had the opportunity to deliberate on it. I know it's sent out. Okay, oh, right, perfect.
It was addressed to all of us, so.
Exactly. Okay, so, could I please have a motion to approve the joint response letter from, the school committee and superintendent to the town of Berlin with the 3 changes we just made this evening?
Second.
All right. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion passes unanimously.
Clarification, or it's only signed by Carol?
I think it said at the bottom, it says on behalf of the school committee, yeah.
If you want to do it either way, if you want to vote it on.
Yeah, that's
I didn't see
good.
it.
It is always.
I think it's fine. Yeah, I can stop by and sign it if you want. Do you think I should sign it?
No, it is what it is.
It is, I think it's fine. We're gonna see them in a couple weeks. Okay, so, we have our upcoming meeting on Tuesday, December 12th. Is there any, future agenda items that anyone wanted to mention tonight before we adjourn?
I think use of the gym in the buildings for
Yeah.
shared use space for youth groups and nonprofits and stuff.
Did you want to elaborate on that briefly, or does everyone?
I can, or we can wait till the meeting.
All right, yes.
Take longer.
Yep, sure. All right, I got that. All right, Jess, do you have something?
Just the conference we went to,
Oh, yeah, that's definitely gonna be on the agenda. Yep.
yeah, we're gonna have a subcommittee meeting on the 8th. And so,
So like just a brief recap of your conference.
yeah, I have some exciting ideas, especially in regards to moving kids to Aspen.
Oh,
That was a really exciting collaboration project that's happening in other districts.
okay. All right, anything else? Good. All right, could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, roll call vote, Julie, Laurie, Mike,
Aye.
Jeff, Lisa, I'm an aye as well. All right, and that concludes our meeting.